Hello, I am Mr. Gordon and this is video hashtag 526. So in this video I'm going to talk about Winx Club season 3 episode 18. Before we get into this video, let me give you a heads up about some of my Winx Club content. So basically I've covered each of the Winx Girls Enchantix episodes. In the last episode, we finally get Techna back and everyone is saved. We're going to talk about episode 18 here because we have a new character which I think it would be fun to talk about. Also, everything else in this episode is fun to talk about, so yes, I'm pleased to talk about this episode. However, let me know if you want me to talk about the next episode. I'm trying to consider if I want to talk about the Stella Solaria episode. While I do think it's an important moment for Stella, I wonder if it's important for me to talk about because there's I guess I guess we can discuss Nova in that episode. So I guess maybe I might. So we're starting off with the Nickelodeon theme song because I'm covering the Nickelodeon episode this time. But I've got to say, despite all the problems Nickelodeon has given us, I think season 3 is where Nickelodeon has done their best. And I do like the theme song of this Nickelodeon. It's very magical and pleasant. Also, can I be honest? Sometimes I feel like Nickelodeon does better than Ray, for season 3 at least. I think each of the dubs have their strengths and their weaknesses, but I do see like the strengths of Ray, I see the strengths of Four Kids, and I see the strengths of Nickelodeon. So I do see when like one of them doing better than the other, and I do see Nickelodeon doing better than Ray for for this season. I do think like Nickelodeon polishes things up, but sometimes I feel like Nickelodeon makes it too polished. So I guess that's the blurred line when it's too polished or too perfect. But I like what they done for season 3 though. In the first scene, we see Flora and Bloom reflecting on the previous events. It's bringing season 1 and season 2, but they would talk like this, like good old friends. And I do like this gradient of like nighttime in Althea. It gives a little bit of an ambience, a bit of vibe. I do recognize that Lola mentioned this in her podcast, and I agree. It's just a vibe. In the next scene, we see the specialist trying to save witches from the Cloud Tower. This is such a fun scene from this episode. I always loved it when I was a kid. First of all, I love that they're in separate teams. Like, Sky is an S team, Brandon is in a B team, and I also like the individual like outfits. It's so cool. However, I do still think that the outfits are too samey. Like, they're in the same colors. Like, obviously they're in the same blue color. I would have appreciated it if they were in different colors. This is why I appreciate season 8 specialist uniform. I'm probably the rare people who actually prefers the season 8 uniforms. However, I do prefer this over what they usually wear in this first 3 seasons. Maybe they should have switched to this look for overall for the season. I also think it's odd that like Timmy's badge is red. Shouldn't it be yellow like his main color? However, overall it was a fun scene and I enjoyed it. I got to say that I am proud of the specialists for doing the hard work to protect Cloud Tower. I think they did a plan to make the specialists confront Valtar. I think that was kind of a terrible idea. I think they wouldn't able to handle Valtar because they don't have magic. But of course, like I think the specialists are useful, especially when like dealing with monsters that don't require magic. I would have loved if the specialists have upgraded their weaponry to like at least match the Winx and other magic users. I also would have loved if there were more female specialists too. I think that would be great. And I do like the idea of a specialist. I think they are fascinating just as much as witches and fairies. Because I do recognize the specialists are their own species, just like witches and fairies and pixies are mermaids. So I do find that fascinating. And I appreciate how the species in Winx Club they use different methods to deal with different things. For example, fairies rely on positive magic, and witches rely on dark magic, which is both great. I think they work with what they've got. And as for specialists, they use weaponry or techno magic to work with what they've got. And it's a great idea for like these species to upgrade themselves, which is great. Like if fairies can upgrade to like wings to enchantics, so could witches and specialists and other species too. So the witches and the specialists find out that Walter has escaped and the witches are safe. However, Walter has collection of the Cloud Tower spell books. One thing I do appreciate about the Nickelodeon dub, I do like the dialogue much better. While I appreciate most of these voices though, I do find Griffin's voice kind of bland. I think I kind of mentioned this in one of my like Nickelodeon special videos where like I think the voice actress of Griffin for Nickelodeon is not actually that perfect. I much prefer Griffin's voice in Farkis, where her personality is a bit more shown. However, everything else is fine for me, at least from what I'm seeing right now. In the next scene, the Winx try out the training for the Enchantrix. So basically, they're meant to fight these Negatus monsters. If they lose, they will lose their powers. I think this is a good challenge for the Winx. It seems like Layla and Stella have sat this one out. I think that makes sense for them. They already trained the Enchantrix in episode 10 when they were fighting off the zombie witches. So they've already proven that they've already done this. So Flora, Misa, Techna and Bloom, they do their training. I like what Flora and Techna did for their training. I like Flora's one because she used a cherry blossom spell to attack the Negatus monsters. I think it looked really beautiful and is just elegant. And I also like how Techna dealt with her Negator monsters by trapping the Negator monsters inside her phone. Both of these attacks were beautiful and creative. I also like how the training is matched to the personality. Like Flora showing her like her sweet and beautiful nature, and Techna is showing her technical intelligence. So yeah, and I also like Bloom's part of the training too. She's showing her personality as well. Like she's using fire. She's like burning fire, and that's her passion. That's how she tries to attack Negatus monsters. Even though her like Enchantrix is like kind of buggy because it's not complete. But I like how she's dealing with this. The only thing I'm not fond of is Misa's training. She basically didn't do much, so I kind of understand why Focus like cut that part out. Like, what the heck did she do? So while Bloom defeated the Negatus monster, she still lost her challenge. I think it's because that her Enchantrix is incomplete. She used up a lot of energy to get that monster out, so that's why she feels exhausted. In the next scene, I think we see Darcy going to Valtor's new hideout. I don't think we ever know what this hideout is. I imagine she used a pot to get there, but like no one ever mentioned what it's called. It's not Andros or Omega, and it's definitely not Cloud Tower. and it's not giving me underground either. So are they? I got to say it does look cool though with the rocky textures. It's nice. So it appears that like Valtor has too many spells in his disposal. He won't able to carry these books around with all these magic spells. So his plan is to like get an Agoda box to seal all these spells. I can imagine he'll implode with all these magic. So I think that might be a good plan for him. Also, I'd like to mention I love the design of the Trix's outfits. I think my favorite outfit would probably be Icy's. I like the shade of blue on her top. And I also like her style of her top with the collar. It looks nice. In the next scene, we see the Winx heading towards Magic's just for a chill out. It probably will be the only few times we'll ever see Magic's until the future. By the way, I love the raincoats that Stella gave each of the girls. They all look so pretty. I think my favorite look would probably be Flora's. I like the hat and her color of her outfit, and I like how her hair looks. I also love that Stella gave Musa a braided pigtail along with her raincoat. And I noticed like Flora and Bloom have like um, pink and green color combo. It seems like in the show they love to have pink and green color combo because it's not just those two who have like that color combo. Layla also has this color combo, and so does Roxy. Either way, they all look gorgeous. In the next scene, we see the girls hanging out in the table. I would have loved it to see them like eating their food or something. It does bother me when like cartoons have like characters showing around a table and they don't eat food. I mean, what can I say? I love food, and I'm sure you guys do too. Anyways, they get stalked by Nabu. I think that's kind of a yikes to me. Please, Nabu, don't stalk people. But in my opinion, Nabu is one of my favorite specialists or male warrior from Winx Club. Like, you know, I can't decide between him, Brandon, or Timmy. I do like Helia too. I would include him to part of my favorites. And I do know that I've been hard on Sky and Riven. I do see the flaws, but at the same time, like Sky and Riven have more cons than they do with pros. Like I do understand that people are mean about Sky and Riven, which I get. I am also like, but I've come to the term like I'm not mad at them all the time. Like for Riven, for example, like I think I am usually mad at him because he does hurt other people, and I understand that Riven is his like a bad person towards Misa, which I think his behavior shouldn't be excused. But I think also Misa, I've watched Lola's podcast about Riven. I think um, I think Misa is also kind of part of the problem. Like it is, I mean, I respect both Misa and Riven, but sometimes I do feel like Misa is hard on him, and also think like Misa should have like broken up with him. But I do feel like that's kind of like a victim mentality. Like you do not know your abusers or stuff. So yeah, I can understand like um I kind of see both sides. Like I can see how you can defend Misa, how you can defend Riven, but I can see how you can also like blame both of them. Like um Misa should not have expected so much from Riven because he can't, give emotional support for her, which is what she discussed in in Farkis and Cinelume. In the Nick, they don't mention this. I think that's a good thing they don't mention, it, but because it wasn't relevant. But yeah, With Sky, I'm a bit more softer than Riven because I do understand like his situation. I think one of my only thing that I think is like the worst thing Sky has ever done for his own thing. I think the fact that he abandoned Bloom in season 1 in Cloud Tower, that I think is his worst crime. I know he gets jealous, and I think I'm more defending of Farkas Sky. I can't see anything about Cinelim or Nick. Cinelim Sky, he kind of gives me stuck up energy. Like, he gives me like a bit of a narcissist. With Nick Sky, I kind of like him because his, he's kind of goofy boyfriend archetype. He's harmless. I think I like Farkas Sky the most because I think he's a bit more heartfelt. So out of the three, I guess I can like Nick and Farkas, but Cineloom Sky is just a no for me. He just gives that energy of like I'm better than you. Also, I want to reiterate because I've mentioned it before. I'm not gonna blame Misa for like, um, um, if she's getting, if she's a victim, because you can't be blamed for being a victim. But I will say like, the only thing that I would have appreciated if Misa made choices to like leave Riven or like, you don't have to be in a relationship with him. Just separate yourself, and you can just be friends, and that's it. With the other four, Timmy, Brandon, Nabu, Helia, I don't have a problem with them, and I also don't have any problem with the other two specialists, Roy and X. I just think they were right for Layla, but I think they're just okay. I don't have a problem with them, at least for now. At least from what I've gathered. My opinion on them might change. Who knows? Who knows in the future when I cover season 5 and 6. I think for Helia though, like, um, I think I like him, but I think sometimes he's absent, and I don't have a problem with his personality whatsoever. I think he has a great personality. I just wish he wasn't so absent in season 3 or season 4. Yeah. The reason I'm talking about this though, like, is what they were talking about in the cafe. So, like, just to clear things up. I know I went tangent on this. And I also feel bad for Layla though, like, the fact that her parents are, like, forcing her to be in an arranged marriage. That I can understand. Like, I know, like, I am part of a background where, like, you have to be, like, in a forced relationship. I'm not one of those. So yeah, but I do understand. But I'm also proud of Layla making her own choice of who she wants to date. Layla does get mad about Nabi stalking her, so she storms off. I do understand her point of view, but I do think she was a little bit hard on him. But yes, I do think like Nabi, like, don't stalk people. But yeah, but I can understand like she has a pressure of like her parents forcing relationship on her. So yeah, I understand her. In the next scene in Winx Club, Valtor announces to everyone that he was the Eye of the Ancient Witches, which is a powerful artifact. If he has it, they're all done for, apparently. But we all know what he really wants. I got to say though, I love how the Winx are using their problem solving skills to figure out what Volta is doing. It's giving me Scooby Doo vibes or um um like mystery solving vibes. I like those sort of things. If you don't know about me, I love mystery solving games like Among Us, Clue, and 7 Second Riddles, and Guess Who. So those things that I find fun. So So I think it's really nice that the Winx girls are using their problem-solving skills to figure out what Volta is doing. I think it also helps the audience to figure out as well. We already know what Volta is planning, but it also helps help the viewers, help them be good at problem solving. In the next scene, when they reach to the roof of the museum, the Winx find out they get followed by Ophia or Nabu. By the way, Nabu's fake name is Ophia. That's how he's presented at this moment. I was gonna be like, oh, spoilers, but like this show was out for like 20 years or so. Also, I don't care about telling you spoilers in this channel. Like, you would have wanted to watch the show first than watching this video. I also love that Tekna is the most suspicious of Nabu. I think it's giving me Velma from Scooby Doo. Like, she's the most logical one, so she is kind of the most suspicious of like criminal, and Tekna is for this show. And it also brings back to my favorite episode in season 2. Well, it's one of my favorite favorite episode in season 2. It's where the episode of Angel of Doom. So it's bringing that. So yeah, it's bringing good memories. I also like the girls are using teamwork to figure things out. It makes me think of My Little Pony, where they would fight off a star like Glimmer, and the main six would use teamwork to figure things out. But from all the problem solving, you know who I'm most proud of the most? I'm most proud of Musa in this whole situation. I think she asked the right questions. I think they're all like taking involved in this whole problem solving, but I feel like Misa is adding a lot of value to this discussion, and I think it makes sense for her as the fairy of the music. She lets people to stop and listen to each other, so I think so they can make think things through. And I also like how Layla, Bloom, and Tekna are involved in this whole discussion too, as well as Stella and Flora. I think Stella is trying to look at this optimism. If everyone's like, if Layla is feeling bad, she is making jokes so she can lighten up. Um, Flora is kind of like making everyone feel at ease, so she adds that to the value. I think with Bloom, she's very direct. She wants the action. She's very impulsive, which is great. I think like she wants to. Her main focus is trying to attack Valtor, which is great. But I think we need someone like Tekna or Misa to be like, let her think this through. It's good thing she has those two characters to help her less think things through, and I like Tekna in this as well. Like she's thinking things logically, but also like it's great that she has other characters like Flora and Layla and Stella to have that emotional part. So like make her, to help Tekna not to go overly logical. So I'm glad that like they're all working things together. But yeah, it's the teamwork that I really like, yeah, especially coming from Yusa. The Winx finally find out that Valtor really wants the Agadar box, so the Tricks almost managed to take it. So good thing we have the Winx to stop them. So basically, the Agadar box will able to contain all the magic Valtor stole. I do hate the idea that a villain can be defeated without Bloom. Like, why can't they defeat him with their powers combined? I do understand for this instance, like, Bloom has the Dragonfire and Valtor has the Dragonfire, so I think, Bloom can find a way to defeat Valtor. Like they can do this with or without Bloom. In the next scene, Walter and Bloom go head to head in a battle. However, Bloom knows that she can't defeat Walter because her enchantress is incomplete. So when Walter attacks Bloom, she uses her fairy riddles to defend herself. So just as they were about to defeat Walter, Walter has the opportunity to almost attack Layla, who was holding the trinket. Just as Layla was about to get hurt, Nabu steps in to defend her. Walter uses Nabu as a bait so he can get the trinket, and so they set Nabu free and he takes the trinket. So in the end, Walter has his way, and they all go back to Althea. So I guess that's the end of this episode and this video. Anyway, that's it for this video. I think I've covered everything I need to say about this episode. I think the main thing that I wanted to discuss in this episode is Nabu, and I think I've discussed it well here. But to reiterate, I like Nabu. I think he was a bit stalkery, but I think that doesn't really matter. Overall, I like his personality as a specialist or like a male character here. I think Nabu, Brandon, and Timmy are probably like my most favorite male character. And I also like Helia too for his personality as well. I think my favorite thing about this episode is the girls' raincoats. I think it's so pretty. I like the style. It's so beautiful. I think Flora's outfit is probably my favorite out of them all, but they all are all gorgeous. Also, it's not all uniformed either, like how it is in like future seasons. Like how I'm seeing season 6, how they all wear like a samey outfits, like whatever Stella gives, compared to what's right now. Like this is what Stella has given everyone, and they all look so unique. My least favorite thing about this episode is probably like few things that, like my least favorite things are like the little minor things that, because there's not many things I hate about this episode. I guess my least favorite thing is probably like the fact that each of the girls couldn't defeat Valtor, and he goes like, oh, even with them, they can't defeat him. It just implies that with Bloom, they could defeat Valtor. Another thing is probably like in Musa's training. I think the Enchantrix training, I didn't enjoy Musa's part of it. I think um, there wasn't much effort in her one. Yeah, but overall, I did enjoy this episode. I think the pros outweigh the cons for the most part. And for the future, I think I will be considering talking about Stella's episode. It's because there is a scene that I think is important for me to talk about, which yeah, we will talk about it when we get there. So yeah, that stay tuned for that. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and have a lovely day.